This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
But a man who was ahead of his time. Before his death on his 65th birthday, February 17, 1988, Allegro published 5 more books that take forward the work presented here. The End of a Road, The Chosen People, Lost Gods, The Dead Sea Scrolls and the Christian Myth, and Physician, Heal Thyself. Although these books take a milder tone, they develop themes that stem from his original views set out in The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. In this edition of The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross, only minor corrections, including grammatical, have been made. Otherwise, it is presented exactly as Allegro originally intended, except that the images of the Plancourot fresco and the Amanita muscaria are printed in black and white within the text, and the Plancourot fresco is also presented on the back cover in colour. A foreword has been added by Judith Ann Brown, and an addendum by Professor Ruck. The layout and design is by Aaron Welton, to whom we owe our thanks. Several earlier editions, including those in foreign languages, were printed without the extensive notes at the back of the book. In keeping with the way Allegro originally intended to present this work, a copy of these notes with a few minor corrections is provided in full for academic inquiry. As someone who has personally dedicated more than 15 years to the study of the use of psychedelic drugs within Judeo-Christianity, I am more than grateful that the Allegro estate has encouraged me to return the pages of this lost treasure to the inquiring minds of the world. With this, I am honoured to present you with this 40th anniversary edition of John Marco Allegro's The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. Jan R. Irvin, publisher, Gnostic Media Research and Publishing, author of The Holy Mushroom, Evidence of Mushrooms in Judeo-Christianity, co-author of Astrotheology and Shamanism, Christianity's Pagan Roots. Forward. I see The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross as a challenge and a work in progress. As John Allegro intended, it challenges conventional views of religion. It looks at how man has conceived of God and sought to commune with God from earliest times. God clearly comes with different faces for different purposes, but from the time of the first written records, people have seen the essence of divinity, its first and most fundamental purpose, as the bestowal of fertility, the bringing of life on earth. This book shows the power and persistence of this idea, and of the fertility cults and rituals by which people tried to attain divine vision and know the mind of their God. Central to such cults over thousands of years and across the continents has been the use of entheogens, psychoactive substances derived from plants, to reach a higher consciousness, a sense of community with the gods. One of the chief sources was the sacred mushroom, Amanita muscaria, at once the symbol and embodiment of fertility and the means to understand it. Earlier scholars had already realized the significance of entheobotany in various religious practices, and of fertility motifs in myth and legend. John Allegro had the temerity to relate these themes to Christianity and Judaism. He found they represented a continuity of religious experience, which must completely transform our interpretation of the Old and New Testaments. The evidence for this continuity is in language. Successive languages, as they have evolved from the first written codes inscribed on plinths and tablets some 6,000 years ago in ancient Sumer. The discovery of Sumerian as the ancestor of later Indo-European languages was the tool that enabled Allegro to perceive the transmission of religious ideas through successive cultures. But his philological approach was in itself controversial, and following the argument is another challenge. His reasoning is set out in the endnotes, which are difficult to assess without prior knowledge of ancient languages. Some scholars denied there was any link at all between Sumerian and later Indo-European languages. Most denied that enough was known about it to prove many of the etymologies.